This one is going to be a big one. Eric, do you want to introduce our guest?
Let's do it. A very good evening to you if you're joining us, and thank you again for choosing 94.4 Spice FM. We indeed are the adults in the room, and you've made the right choice. We have a riveting conversation lined up just for you. And as Emmanuel has said, we're discussing how men and women differ in sex. So studies to study, Barbara and Emmanuel and you, msikilizaji, show that men's sex drive are not only stronger than women's, but much more straightforward. Study, see your Eric study. On today's show, we are joined by Taruri Gatere. I like your name. Good Lord. Taruri Gatere. Tarure. Oh, is there?
Tarure.
Cute is hard. All right. So Taruri Gatere, who is a blogger, is that right?
Yes,
and
among other things.
yeah, and she does a whole lot of other fantastic stuff. She's come through to help us try and figure out ways men differ in sex from women. Taruri, I was watching a bunch of your work.
Oh.
And I saw a bunch of guys saying, "Oh my God, look at your eyes! Look at your eyes!" up on the comment section.
So I want to also look at your eyes.
Men,
Is there anything with that?
no, they were saying your eyes are beautiful. Before we get into the conversation,
Yes.
we are the adults in the room.
Yes.
Just a quick introduction. My name is Eric Omondi. To my right, the gentleman with Lumumba glasses. His name is Emmanuel Kisengani. He's a married brother in the house. And to your left is Barbara Mbaka, aka the Duchess of Ikolomani.
Yes.
Barbara lives a life like it's golden. And the fourth person, we actually the three of us plus one who sits here.
Yes.
This is a unisex seat, and it was msikilizaji.
I like it, and that you actually have like
Yeah,
a
to
private
work
chair
together.
for them.
Yes, yes. So together we make up the adults in the room, and what we try to do here is to have really authentic conversations, unedited. We speak from the heart and really authentically. So that's what we try to do here. So please feel at home.
Yes.
Thank you so much for finding time to come. And
Thank you.
let's dive right into it. I read something very interesting, guys. I read a blog, because you're a blogger, I was reading blogs. I read a blog where women were saying that a guy driving a shiftless gear, you know that shift gear? It's
Yes,
not
good.
what is that called?
Manual.
The manual car.
Wow.
Yes, that guys who drive manual cars or who unbutton their shirts down somewhere to almost their kitovu here, mokonyo. Another woman said that men who haven't shaved in a long, long time and have a big beard are some of the things that turn them on. All right. So every time in my past relationship, Tarure, when I ask women, when we've gotten comfortable, I'm not a weirdo, not on dates at hi. So which coffee? What cake? Okay, what turns you on? No, don't do that. But every time you'd be forthright and ask a woman as a man, at least I'll speak for myself. If you ask them, so what turns you on? Even after you've had a sexual relationship for a minute, not even women seem to always know, right? So let's start by asking, what's women's sexual turn on, and why do you think they are more complicated than men, if at all they are?
I think, well, being a woman, I don't find it more complicated. For me,
Really?
it just makes sense. Like, especially that stick shift thing that
Yes,
you're talking
yes.
about,
Yeah.
especially when the guy puts it in reverse and then does the arm thing. You know how he does the arm
Yeah,
thing?
Like
Like
the
the
mat
mat thing. Oof, and then one
Is that
hand
for
is in
every
the-
woman?
I actually did it. I posted a tweet about that.
All right.
a
Okay, I
few
find it
months
because it
ago.
means you're in control.
Yes, there's
And
something.
till I learned how to reverse like that, just to be sure.
So is it the reversing or the adjusting of the...
It is like this.
It's
Emmanuel,
just
look.
like all of it.
You know how you have to step on the clutch, then you move it, pa 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 pa.
Yes.
Then you shake it, then it turns
yeah,
it back.
yeah.
It's control.
It's control.
Okay,
Delicious.
Taruri. So for you as well. Oh wow.
Clearly for me as well. Another thing is when a guy is completely focused on a task. I don't know how, but that just like turns me on. Like,
You wouldn't go like you are ignoring me?
well, no, there's that. But like, if he's just like engrossed, if you find him like maybe he's fixing something,
Yeah.
especially if it's something manual, and then he's like engrossed in it and lost in it. That's so sexy.
Does it have to be laborious, like drilling a nail on a wall, or just maybe
No.
sitting on his computer?
Could be sitting on his computer as
Oh,
well.
okay.
There was a
Okay.
guy who I used to love watching play drums when I was in church.
Oh,
So you used to go to church just watching programs. Oh my God.
Forgive me, Father.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
Yes.
So is it different for, like that's across the board, ladies look at guys and there are some specific things which they're doing which just...
Turn them them on.
Yeah.
Yes, and it's most of the time it's not like obvious stuff, because you'd think the thing with guys is I guess guys are more visual creatures. So there are certain things across the board that would just turn you on. A beautiful woman, a nice body, maybe nice breasts, a nice ass. Am I allowed to say ass?
You already said it.
But for women, it's more about the energy. I feel like you see with the driving, it's about him being in control. When he's focused on a task, it's about the intensity of what he's doing, and so it's more subtle. It's like on an emotional level more than it is on a visual.
Taruri, hold it
level.
right there, man. We're going to talk more about that energy stuff, man. All the people out there, please tell a friend about this conversation. I'm sure we're going to learn a couple of things. We are in studio with who, Barbara?
We're in studio with Taruri.
Taruri, Gatere.
Gatere. I said it well.
So perfectly.
And we're talking about how men and women are viewed differently.
I'm going to come
or
back.
view sex differently.
Yes, I'm going to come back and we're going to have more conversation around the energy story because I'm sure we're going to learn a bit from that. Meanwhile, some Prince coming up, When Doves Cry, one of my favorite jams of all time. You remember what Genuine did to this song, man? 18 minutes past 8 o'clock. We are the adults in the room. We're together all the way till 10. And obviously, we have some soul music intersped through our conversation. And, if you're a music lover, you better just hang in there. Because we have some George Michael coming up, man. It's going to be a treat today. The playlist is fire. Today, we have a special guest in the building. Barbara, who is our special guest?
Gatere. Gature.
Hey, Barbara.
You said it so well. You said it so well.
Oh my God.
Barbara rounds too.
Sorry, Tarure Gatere.
Say my
Please
name.
pardon me for that. We're talking about how men and women view sex differently.
Babe,
We'll also plug in a
Barbara,
moment.
please say that again.
We're talking about how men and women view sex differently. We're talking to Tarure Gatere.
All right.
Na
And
Barbara
you
umesongea Gature, unataka kumshika mkono?
can-
Your hand is way
No, I have that effect. I have that effect. I'm sorry.
social
wow.
distancing. nimekumbushwa.
Yeah.
Please, you could chime in on this conversation through all our social media handles. That is Spice FM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Let us know what your thoughts are. The hashtag is AdultsKE. If you have a comment, you have a question, plug in, my darling.
And before, you want to share something, Eric?
Yeah, absolutely. So we are learning today how men and women differ in sex. And I'm expecting to hear a whole lot of feedback from you ladies. And of course, Gatere and Barbara here are going to lead the conversation so that they share the minds of women about some of these things. Because men, we are often accused of being clueless. Quickly, Engineer Kirui Clement says, hello, everyone. He says hi to you as well. And he says he tuned in already from Eldoret City. No, from Kericho City. Kericho ni city kweli kabisa. Nimekubali na wewe. Can't wait for today's topic. And Wakanyi, hi, I'm Wakanyi and I'm listening from Gatudu. So spices everywhere, Gatere. It's
Clearly.
Uko, Lamu, Busia, Gatudu, Kericho. So yeah. Tuko
Wong
kila
Yong Yong is listening from Kakamega. Wong Yong
Oh,
Yong.
amazing.
That is Barbara's cousin. That's why you could say that name so well.
So before we went on to listen to that Prince, we were talking about energy. And you were saying the way ladies could be turned on by a very simple thing as the way a guy is fixing loose ceiling. So he just gets his ladder and climbs up there and he starts hitting it into the wall. And like,
Is this something you're planning to do over the weekend?
No, she's the one who said. I'm not the one who said.
She didn't say
No,
that.
this is just an example.
Have you been
So
taking
can't
up
have my-
lies now?
Well, now
This
you're
guy
taking
lies
up-
daily.
Exactly.
No, I'm saying.
I didn't say that.
I've not said she said a ceiling. I've said something like.
Well-
Can I use an example like
So-
something like? Does that qualify?
So that
as
for you
not
at
like?
your loose ceiling.
But back, you guys.
Kwani mjengo?
You guys are making me lose
Watch
my
out,
train of
Gatere
thought.
has to tuambie.
So, because as men, like I can speak personally, sometimes you think maybe it's, going to the gym, then you pump and get some muscle, some tone, and then you come home and walk around without a shirt, and then you're like, "Aye, this chick is not noticing that I'm walking around in a vest, and she can't see my muscle." So, how important is that energy, and how can we? transmit it, better. Is there a way, something that we can learn? Is it a case of if you ignore her and just do something, like she's gonna get turned on?
Most likely, to be honest, it's such a weird thing, because when a guy is trying to be sexy, sometimes that can actually come off a little gross.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like, just relax. But then it's the subtle things that will turn a woman on. And that's why it's not so much about things like physique. I mean, if you're going to work out and you're going to be healthy, that's great. And do it more for you than anything else. And there are women who would appreciate like a nice looking body. That's true. But generally, it's just about your essence and your energy. And one of the things that could really help, like you are asking, is something like confidence. Just being secure in yourself as yourself, and just being yourself, having confidence in who you are. That's definitely
Eric,
sexy.
I think that is actually true, because sometimes you see a very hot, in quotes, Jama, and his chick is attracted to some other guy who looks, he's not so put together like this other one. So maybe the guy is missing out on energy.
Absolutely. One thing, Barbara and Gatere.
Taruri.
No, I will not say that. I don't want to.
Taruri.
Good Lord,
Gatere is my
that's-
father, actually my grandfather.
Good Lord. All right, Tarure. Let me
Thank
write it down.
you.
Tarure.
Yes.
I keep saying Taruri. I don't know why. So, you know what, guys? One of the biggest impediment that men have, and I speak for myself and a lot of men, is that our assumption often emanates from our own security. So then a man starts thinking while sitting down in his folly that I have this car. You see this car I bought, this high-end machine. And I'm rich. So I will just look at Tarure's face and she will connect. We'll be going home like this. So in the man's world, we rarely think about attraction. So that a lot of attraction that we are supposed to emanate towards women, it really is objectified in our minds. So it has to oftentimes do in our minds with something I've bought for her, where I'll take her, wowing her with maybe a huge banana. So maybe I start reading about how to make my banana big. So I'm like, banana enhancement, And rarely do we talk about, even think about things that are attractive to women. And even the sexual differences. I read once that a woman tweeted something very interesting. She said that, could you guys think about if it had to take, Emmanuel, this is very interesting. She said if it had to take women to orgasm, we'd probably be 8 people in the world right now.
Yes. Yes.
So true.
She said that.
Yes.
And I was reading the thread that followed, and a lot of women were saying that many men cannot even find the cookie.
Yes.
They can't find it. Like
They
they're
know
playing
where
with
it
them
is,
mokonyo, convinced that that's where they're supposed to go.
Yeah.
So I was just saying that to say that this conversation is very interesting.
Yeah.
Tarure, I
Just
read
a moment, just to add on what Emmanuel
Yes.
is talking about when she said confidence.
Yeah.
Both in men and women, confidence is important. Confidence not only makes you sexy, confidence not only makes anyone get turned on or attracted to you, but also just boosts your energy and your vibe. When you walk and you know yourself and you know your worth, no one wants to walk with a timid person. No one wants to get attracted with someone who is so like a weakling. You always want to like someone who knows their stuff. So you see, when you have some level of confidence, it just makes you attractive. Whether you're short, whether you're tall, whether you're fat, thin, whatever, or lanky, there's something. How many men, have you ever asked yourself why they're men, and you've even said it, they do not even have a God-given shape. They look like a potato. But the amount of confidence they have, it makes them attractive. And the language they use with women.
Yeah.
And you'll find a lot of women around them. It's because it's not of how they look, but it is what they emit, the energy they emit.
But do you
outside.
think, Taruri, many ladies get conned into a relationship using the confidence? route?
No.
Like a guy is confident, and like a week later, you're like, hey, this guy, that's the only thing he had, man, just confidence. You know what I mean?
Sorry.
As in, apart from the confidence, he didn't have any depth.
Yes.
You have to sustain it going forward.
Yeah.
So you get conned by a guy who comes and showers you with this initial hit of confidence.
Yeah.
But going forward, there's nothing.
I mean, that definitely can happen. But most of the times I've noticed when a guy is confident, it's because he knows who he is. And with that comes its own innate depth. You understand? Because he has developed his sense of self. He knows who he is. He knows what he has to offer the world. So Well, that can happen. I feel like that's really rare because guys who are confident in themselves and not attached to, I can provide this or I have this to show off, when it's actually just a confidence that's based on their sense of self, then I think that's depth, actually.
And anyone whose confidence is very honest about where they are and what space they are, they will not lie to you.
Hey, I know a lot of con men who
Let
lie.
me, don't confuse confidence with someone being a con man. Let me give an example. Eric, you once gave us a story here, and you told us you had enough confidence to take this woman to your one-roomed apartment, and she went there with you. You did not con her into going there, but you were very open and honest, and she did not mind that because it's the confidence. You're like, you know what? I don't have it. This is what I have, and the lady will get to have a choice. But don't confuse someone being confident and being connish. Those are two different things.
Have I communicated? Do you get what I'm saying? Like confidence, like there has to be more to sustain the attraction than just the initial confidence.
What do you think should be there?
I think if I understood what Emmanuel is trying to communicate, I mean, from hanging out with a lot of guys. Today I was at the gym and there are a bunch of guys who come with beards, and you know these you guy my guy guys. Check you guy maze ambia that Chile my guy. You know that Chile started saying that she could nusa condoles use her condoms you guy. Then I ambia that Chile. Kwani you are nusaying, that means you don't like rubber, you guy. So she flipped maze, you guy. So I was angaliaing her, like, why are you zushaying? So those guys.
Cheers, babas.
Cheers, babas.
Yes.
And
that's where they're in Kilimani.
And you know, I was looking at them. I've seen them a bunch of times. So they come in the gym dressed up in, you know, like correct, you know, I can
designer.
So they're very big on showiness more than the content of their character.
Yes.
So I feel that while I respect what you, Barbara, is saying about confidence and it being very important, a true confidence for me has to couple up with truth.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And essence of who you truly are.
Yes.
But a lot of people in Nairobi, as you guys have noticed, are big posers.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, they're super big posers.
And you can tell the difference between someone who's confident.
So tell me, Taruri, the question I was heading to, how does confidence look like? What does confidence look like in a woman? What would that be? If a woman would sit at a corner and say he's confident, what does that look like so that a man can adorn?
It's, how do I describe it? Because it's I feel like women are such energetic beings.
Yeah.
And because, you know, we kind of play in the emotional realm. Have you ever been, let me just give a random example. Yeah. Have you ever been with a group of women and they're having a conversation and you think it's about one thing? Let's say you're with your girlfriend and she's hanging out with her friends and one of her friends comes and says, wow, I like your dress. And then your chick gets pissed off. And you have no idea why, because this chick paid her a compliment, but you're like, I don't understand. But it's because there's like an energetic realm. Do you understand what I mean?
Yes.
There's an energetic realm that women live on. And so when it comes to a guy being confident, it's very easy for a woman to tell, especially if she's in tune with herself. It's very easy for a woman to tell when a guy is faking it and when it's his It's his truth. Right. So, for example, a man who is confident in his sense of self has nothing to prove. Nothing at all. He doesn't walk into a room trying to show, I am the man in this room and I own this room. No, he'll walk in and there'll be an air about him. He doesn't need to prove anything to anybody. He's just chill, but he's very confident. He carries himself with some strength.
And he's not even choking you with their cologne, eh?
No.
Exactly. and he does not need to tell you what car he's driving or flash any keys.
No. In fact, that's the question I wanted to ask.
Do you that's think the difference.
Women, some women, view like you dangle the right key and yell high from the right car and you know you're going to get into the sack?
Well, that depends on what a woman's agenda is. You see, that's the thing. If her agenda is financial security and the way that she sees she's going to get it is through guys, then that would be the guy that she would gravitate towards. But if a woman is looking to connect with a man on a deeper level, then that guy wouldn't even be in her radar at all, because you can tell the posers from the real confident people.
Because maybe she'll have sex with you, but she'll have another guy just for the true one.
Yes, absolutely.
The true package.
I feel like sometimes women actually know what they want and what they are looking for. So if they're looking for an Emmanuel who has the materialistic package, and then the Eric who connects with them emotionally, they will actually relate to Eric and still get what they need to get from Emmanuel. Exactly. So they'll play both cards.
I don't know, but Taruri, I read something very interesting, that women take less direct route to sexual satisfaction. and I've experienced this personally.
Okay.
It is said that men and women travel slightly different paths to arrive at sexual desire. It is also said that for women, desire originates much between their ears, about what you say to them, more than between their legs. A lot of us don't know that as men. So women don't need at all to be there. There's no need for women for a plot. It's more about anticipation, how you get there. It's the longing that is the fuel for the desire. So this caught my interest, that women want to talk fast, Emmanuel, connect first, then have sex. For men, sex is a connection. Sex is their language of intimacy. So sometimes a woman is walking down the streets, the man taps her, like, so the Nairobi guys make these calls like, utakam nikupikie. So, and they get really pissed when you're saying, si hata tukutane kwanza. As in, what's your deal? Si to meet hata tukunywe kawa. Chikia madem ni nini wasumbua. Kawa ya nini maze. Nimemlike, ananifeel, tunafiliana. So I think there's a big, and I cannot agree more to these sentiments, because we are very on like that, as the proverbial saying, men are like switches, not literally, and we've talked about that, Barbara.
I get that.
But there's how, like a bunch of men, when you have sex with us, we feel like this is intimate, she loves me. But women need other things before that. Do you want to talk to us a little about that?
First of all, it depends on where the woman is at and what her agenda is, as we said, because there have been moments in different women's lives when all you want is sex. And so the direct path would be the one that serves that purpose.
Yeah.
But if a woman is looking to connect with a guy, then definitely there has to be that build up. And there has to be, I mean, have you ever thought about have you seen a funny guy hit on a chick?
Funny, haha?
Yeah, funny, not funny, weird.
Yeah.
But
Funny, hilarious.
Yes,
All
but
right.
have you ever seen how that just disintegrates her defenses? It's like because of that, because he's getting to her mind before anything else, and he's loosening her up like that. So a lot of times, if a woman is looking for connection, then definitely there has to be that.
I make a whole lot of women laugh, but they never, ever.
What?
Anyway,
Make them laugh how though?
no, I'm joking. Yes,
I know.
No, I know. You make sense.
Yeah.
You make sense. Okay.
Yeah, so Eric, Eric has many people who he makes like along the corridor over here.
He makes them laugh.
They laugh, but now they want to take it to a higher level. Lakini anakunja sura the next day.
That's not
so
true.
No, for real. So
Mama,
maybe
tell us.
maybe
You
you
can
should
see
stop
in your own
making chicks laugh.
No, it's
Maybe that is
You're
not his
sending the wrong
agenda.
signals.
no.
No, for real.
You have noticed he's sending wrong signals?
I feel so.
No. You know, Taruri. The thing is this. I am currently. There's something I watched. You said that casual sex. I'm sorry if I don't quote you verbatim, but something along the lines that sex doesn't serve you at this place in your life right now.
Yes.
Especially that particular type of sex you're having. I
Yes.
can't remember what it was. I don't want to say casual, so I misquote you. Was it
no,
casual?
Casual is fine.
All right. So, and then you said that one of the things you try not to do is to castigate people who are doing things that they like and
Yes.
term it as wrong, all right?
Yeah.
And I like that.
Yeah.
You're very liberal in your thinking.
I am.
So the thing is this. I was like you. I was in a phase where I was enjoying the cookie. And life happened to me. And I decided, put it on a minute. This is easy. I want hard. So I took up the route for celibacy.
Nice.
So now the challenge has been that a lot of heterosexual women do not know what to do with a heterosexual man who doesn't want to get into their pants.
True.
So you have conversations, they are bawling of laughter. Then they text you on Saturday night, like, Unadu? Check, no, we are not going to go there.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think that's where Emmanuel is coming from. That the need for, sometimes I do that because I'm like, I don't want to further this. I don't want to further this.
Yes.
All right.
You want to put
So
some
so
boundaries.
it's not from a place of I'm being funny. I just like, if I text you so much and we are hanging out, there's once a nurse who was taking care of my mom and I called her Kando. My mom was sick then. And I said, thank you so very much. After this is done, would you care for coffee just to say thank you? I meant really well. And then we went and had coffee. And I said, thank you so very much. I dropped off to where she stays. I was just buying coffee to say thanks. But then now she was following up. She's like, so, Sasa, Cheki mam si mgonjwa.
You should not have taken her for coffee.
Yeah, so I thought that was a bad idea.
Yeah, so then that makes sense that now you're being very careful with,
Absolutely.
with the boundaries.
Yes.
Which
Yes.
I think is a very wise thing to do.
Yes,
So,
because
so in this liberal world, like where is it like the same as back in the day they used to say ladies will only have sex with you if they love you. Do you think now it's more equal in regard to ladies can actually have sex, but it's not really, the love is not part of the equation?
Definitely. I mean, we live in a completely different world. And I think more than ever, in the point of time that we are in, women are expressing themselves fully and are able to seek out their pleasure. Because before there was a lot of judgment and there would be a lot of stigma with women who are openly sexual. And there still is, because even me being who I am on social media, I get a lot of judgment. But at the same time, there's a way that women are freer now where we can just be about, if we want to just get laid, we can just be about that. And yeah, so definitely times are different.
Do you think but like the men have caught up, or they're like how's the judgment? Is it like heavy, or because you see an expressive woman sometimes is very intimidating?
Yes.
So do you think we're doing better as men, like to accept that?
Slowly, yes, very slowly. But there's a long way to go, especially because there's still this idea that men have of, if you give it up too easy, first even the idea of giving it up is something else. But if you give it up too easy, then you're not really someone that I can invest time with. Like, I'll just have random casual sex with you and that will be it. But I feel like that limits the type of relationships that we can have. That makes things so narrow. And men, I think, still have a lot of these judgments that they have to break, apart in their minds. Because just because a woman enjoys sex, it doesn't mean that she's not an emotional being or someone worth respecting or someone who has intelligence, Yeah, so I feel like there's still a long way.
Yeah, because Eric, there was that view of this is sex with a chick. Like, I'm talking about how men would view sex, especially when I was coming in college and after college. Like, you'd say this is sex with a chick who I'm just having sex with, and then now there's this other sex for huyu atakuwa bibi.
Ile kujifunika na blanketi.
That's called the Madonna whore dynamic. Yes. So you know how they say, it's this idea that the woman that you're going to marry, wife material, she has to be almost like a Madonna, like a Virgin Mary, almost type of figure. But then there's the whore aspect, which is now the woman who's
the one you slap.
Okay. What are you into?
He's into a lot of BDSM, so just leave him alone.
That's on the other side of the spectrum.
Yes.
But yes, so there's that whole idea where it's like, the woman who you settle down with has to be like pure, but the woman who you have fun with is now the one who's sexual and open about that. And I feel like that actually led to this whole side piece or mpango wa kando.
Yes.
Because you marry the woman who's respectable, who's not necessarily the woman who you can have fun with.
Your Mother Teresa.
Exactly. Then you need that aspect of yourself to still be catered to, so you go and find now the fun one who can do all the crazy things with you.
Barbara, go ahead.
What are your thoughts on women who have embraced their sexuality and they're very open about it? They don't mind having casual sex, or they don't mind having sex for fun and they love it. How would you, from a woman's point of view, how would you encourage this lady to embrace themselves? Because you're right to say society and actually our men hits them hard.
Yeah.
How would you just tell a lady out there, or what would you tell them?
I mean, just do you. The thing about changes in society is that there have to be I think it's called the outliers. Is that what it is? Yeah. The people who live outside of the norm, and eventually it will become the norm. You see?
Like our pace setters.
Yes, exactly. And I feel like there was a wave of them in the late 90s and early 2000s, women who just decided that they were going to be sexy and unapologetic about it. And so I feel like if we just continue to express ourselves in the ways that feel good for us and feel authentic, and continue to push this idea of we can be in charge of our pleasure and we can own our sexuality as women, eventually that stigma will die down.
This is very interesting. Emmanuel, let me take you back a little. I like that she just said that, and that is spot on the money, that men are very fixated on putting up a font of family. This is my wife with the longest dress under kitamba. And these are our
the
Wakorino
Kitenge
children.
version for Emmanuel.
Yes, and these are our nice, beautiful Wakorino children. Shiro, recite memory verse. Check it, I woke up in the body and Jesus said. Check you see my kids.
They're
Clap for the
perfect.
kids. Check it. Check it. Oh, our boy, nitakupigia. So
bas.
one boy now is the one you choke. So then the thing is this.
No, he's right. It is happening.
No, the thing is this then. I think in a man's mind, because when you said that it triggered something, Emmanuel, would you feel as a married man because of, we're often accused of not being able to, what is this word, Barbara, you said earlier today, multitask?
Yes.
So do you feel that in our ability to multitask, we cannot have our nice Shiro who we love to tie each other and hang on the chandelier as the mother of our memory citing verse chick?
So we put them
And
in
imagine
that
you
box.
can
we
have
put
both.
them.
We,
So we
we
put them
put
in.
Shiro in the box
Yes,
for choking.
yes.
So you drive to the choke.
Yes,
venue.
yes,
And
and
then
then
now
you
they
come
deserve
recite
to
verses.
You
verse
recite verses
venue.
with one boy.
No, it's
Like why
interesting.
wouldn't men then?
And
if you
many
think
men
about
do
it-
that.
Think about it. Why wouldn't men then? Like most of my friends, if I'm being honest, Taruri would tell me, "Hey, huyo demo anakuwaga mtiambo buda. Unaingiaga na kuambia kifungu inatupwa. Tutokyo nyumba naingia saa 2 eriko mechi. Natoka Monday asubuhi." So you see. So then if you tell him, would you take this lovely lady wa mechi as your lovely bewed mechiki ish? Hiyo ni noma tena niwe mtu wa mechi.
Yes.
So then are we double whatever?
In
Dipping.
fact,
Yeah, because
do
what's
you want to
that
answer
about?
that first? But in fact,
No,
as
you
you're
answer
answering, no, I want to throw it
Because
back
you're
to
married.
you.
I need
You're
to
married.
know.
We need to understand.
You're the one who
Because
would
in my
have-
yeah,
You're married.
yeah,
No,
yeah,
Taruri
yeah,
will
yeah.
speak, but I want to hear as a married man.
because
I
many
feel
married
this-
people
Okay, let me
don't
answer
marry
them. Let
the
me answer them.
ideal.
I feel like maybe you get into the marriage with that. You call it the Madonna whore effect. Right? Still.
Yes.
So you get into the marriage, and then now you want this person to become now that whore in quotes.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you miraculously bring the relationship up as the verse, like you're into verses, you're all what's the word you used with me, conservative. But now when you're now deep in the marriage, you're like, why isn't this person doing these other things to me?
Yeah.
Which now drives the man to start looking for this other person.
Or are you saying
So-
that in the beginning they were doing it
No, in the beginning they
They
were
are not.
conservative.
They're conservative.
and you fell in love with that?
No, you married this conservative. In your mind, you thought this person is conservative.
All right.
They're going to be a wife, in quotes.
Uh-huh.
But now, deep into the marriage, you want something else.
you want a cocktail.
You get what I'm saying?
But
Like,
what changed?
No, now that's your
changed.
true person.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Alright.
your true
So you
nature
sent
coming
your
out.
representative. She sent her representative. You got married, and then the real you comes out.
Yes, the real you comes out.
And maybe
you
both
start
of you even
desiring.
like those cocktails,
Yes.
but because
So-
you all are putting a face.
The question that
Yeah.
I have for Taruri, and you're going to answer it after we listen to this George Michael and Mary J. Blige, is can you convert the Madonna into a whore? In quotes. 94.4 Spice FM, we have a special guest in the building, and we're discussing how men and women view sex. And we're going to go on with this conversation all the way, till 10 o'clock. Barbara, who's our guest again?
Taruri Gatere.
Utasema hiyo
my
jina
name.
paka ingie.
Itaingia daddy, itaingia.
So George Michael coming up right now. George Michael and Mary J. Blige. That song is called As. George Michael unfortunately passed away.
I love the Stevie Wonder version, man.
Oh, you think so? I don't know. I think I love this
Do you
version
believe
better.
the love counts for nothing?
I feel like this version has more energy. Maybe because I was exposed to this one more fast.
Yeah.
So I definitely would
Then
find
you're
the other one.
you're a hippie, yeah?
You think so?
What do you mean? I think so. So you're a hippie.
See, you're the one telling
So you
me.
always rap jams here. Check it. And then I went and caught and then
that's not a hippie.
Check it. I was Uko in West T. But then this is a you guy, my guy.
But there's a you guy, my guy.
This is a
yeah.
you guy, my guy.
Cheers,
no,
Baba.
hey.
Yeah, you
This
My
is a
jacket,
cheers,
does my
Baba.
jacket look like a Cheers Baba
See,
jacket?
the puffed one you
No,
wear.
you know now. You remember when we were telling you at a certain age they do certain things. So he's in that stage a jacket.
Yeah, check it.
You
Yeah,
guys-
jacket. But he's been a
Teasing
cheers,
me.
Baba.
10 minutes to 9 o'clock. We are the adults in the room. We have a special guest in the building. If you can hear the sultry voices are double today, man. It's not just one. We have Barbara the Duchess, and who else, Barbara?
We have Taruri Gatere, a sex blogger.
Barbara, you are improving.
Of course.
70%, no.
Go away. We're talking about how men and women view sex.
Yeah, that's a good, deep conversation.
And Emmanuel, you had a question.
No,
before that,
yes.
Eric, do you have anything you're seeing on your end?
All right. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much. I know some of you are just leaving the office right now. You're waiting. Maybe the wife was saying, dinner is ready. Come with milk.
Sawa.
Boy, ameamka, come.
Sawa,
And then now you
daddy.
decide, okay, now let me leave the office. But first, let me listen to what these guys are talking about. So you're right on the money and right on time. We are having yet another of a very riveting conversation. How men and women differ in sex. I believe, like me, you can pick a thing or two. And today we're joined by none other than Taruri Gatere, who knows a whole lot about sex. And Gatere loves sex, by the way. She confesses in broad daylight on her blog. Check out me, okay, I just love sex. I know some guys can ingilia me, but me, I sex. Okay, I'm just like that. Like I love sex. Anyway, before I tell you how much more I love sex, I have 5 points. Anyway, I love some sex.
Enrico,
No,
yeah.
that's what she does on her blog.
In fact, let me sing a song. Sex on the beach.
So
Really? You can see the gentlemen have been following you.
goes
Really?
in and in on sex. A very good evening to you. Remember, you can post your feedback right on time and right about now on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram as well. We are on all the social media platforms. Our handle is at SpiceFMKE. It's our custom to remind you that we are under the hashtag AdultsKE. What it does is it helps us to quickly locate your feedback. And I see your feedback coming in quickly. Peter Karanja says, hello guys, I love the topic and I'm locked till I see you off. Looking forward to learning and more learning. Peter says that. Thank you, Peter. Wakanyi says, hi, I'm Wakanyi again and I'm enjoying the conversation. K. Ezra, hello, my best crew on radio. I'm so ready to learn today. You know, our show, by the way, is known for learning. It's not for ujinga.
No,
we teach. Yeah, and we learn.
Two things.
We are
and
taught.
learn.
Yani, it's just deadly. So Ezra says, I'm so ready to learn today from this topic. I have washed my hands. Most likely someone there will bite their tongue at the end of the show. Just trying to kusema jina ya mgeni. Paul in advance. She thinks your name is a tongue twister. It's just Taruri Gatere, jameni. Taruri Gatere.
Not that he's gotten
Kitu
his
ya
name.
rahisi tu. Taruri Gatere. Ezra
that
unatubeba
he's
aje
gotten
bana.
so confused.
Tarure then Gatere. Hata unaweza sema Ezra. Mandegwa Kenneth, we see you. There's a lot of feedback coming in. Philip Mbunde, I think we'll read some of them as we go along. Somebody here, Jeb from Eldoret, Brian Valentine, and Ken Kimani. Somebody said something here. Tarure gave us this date. This is WG Musa. I think he's one of your, day ones. Tarure gave us this date. I'm tuned in from Oljaro, Orok, Nyandarua County. Watu umetoa watu mbali.
Yes, do you see?
GW, I think GW, wacha nimeangalia uso. Huyu ndiye alisema macho zako. No, I'm kidding.
Juliet
Barbara, what are you hearing?
Cesaro.
Sorry, Barbara.
Juliet Cesaro says, welcome to Rure, and we're welcoming you to our home. You will live happy and healthy today. Thanks for coming. Eric Odhiambo says, Karibu Sana. Isaac Langat says, hot topic indeed. He's locked from Nandi Hills. Catherine Rose, she is tuned in from Eldoret. And Kikagoros says, I am locked, muko clear kabisa, and I'm listening from Moranga.
Taruri, we were talking about, you mentioned something called the Madonna Whore complex.
Yes.
And because we're talking about how men view sex and vice versa. And we're talking about, in fact, during the break, we're talking about the hypocrisy of how the guy hooks up with the woman and wants her to be conservative as a wife, in quotes. And then he has this other one who is, a beast, you see. So, and I was asking you, can the whore turn into, can you marry someone and then now you turn this Madonna into a whore, in quotes?
Let's call her the wild card.
Yes,
The wild
that's fine.
card.
Yeah, she's not a hoe.
No, we're talking about the Madonna
Because
whore
she knows
complex,
her.
which
Yes,
is for real.
I'm just saying because she knows her sexuality. Let's give her a good name.
Yes.
She just wants to have a wild side.
Yes, that's true. So can the Madonna turn into a wild
cat?
A wild cat. Only if she wants to, and only if that's something that's inside her already. I don't know if you can really change a person into what you want them to be, which is why a lot of guys end up so trapped in their marriages, because you assume or you hope that this conservative woman at some point will transform into this sex goddess and she'll be able to give you what you want. I feel like what's more important is the conversation of why not choose a woman who's more attuned to what you want, who you know that your sexual needs will be fulfilled in the marriage. You know, I feel like that's a healthier conversation rather than trying to change people.
I think we've been conned, Emmanuel, and I say this with a lot of authority.
Conned.
Authority, one, that I am a man, and two, that I belong to the human family and a society. And our society is very similar. So that a lot of men are told that bibi mzuri, in Luo we say madembre. Dembrok is just graceful, unajua chilled, somewhat timid, like, hi, how are you?
But that is what you've been
my
looking
God.
for, and you tell me that's what you're looking for.
We are having a different conversation.
Okay.
So the thing is this. So then in a man's mind, he's made to believe from a very young age that, you know what, your wife should look, feel, and speak like this. Like, wives cannot text you and just say, do you want to come home early? I need to really eat a banana in the afternoon, right? And then, so we associate that sort of text to, good Lord, like, were you born on K Street? You know?
Yeah.
So that we relish it in our minds for fun.
Yes.
But then our marriages, we are sort of socialized to believe that our marriages are supposed to be dull and sanctimonious.
Yes.
You know, like Twimbeni, imba, before dinner, like a dull, boring song. And then you kneel, then you tie vitambas, and then you pray for 20 minutes. Then read another dull verse. Check it. Mom, my name, as you know, is Nyeri. I'll read Romans 2:4. Jesus wept, came across the net. Then you also read, you know, that boring stuff. So that's what a lot of men have been socialized to think.
Yes.
That's
I can't speak for women as what a family sort of, so quote unquote, should look like.
Yes.
Husband and wife partnership. So that anything outside of that construct is deemed not familiar and therefore foreign and
Yes,
bad.
exactly.
All right. So
Yeah.
I think in part that's where it emanates from.
Yeah.
How about if people decide? I like what Eric is saying, and he just triggered something. Most of us are looking or want to marry a Hello Kitty. Allow me to call her the conservative one, a Hello Kitty. Then when they reach there, as you're saying, they want a tigra or a tigress in bed. How about if you are that particular person, and bless your heart, as Eric is saying, you want a Hello Kitty, stick to the Hello Kitty. When you get in there, don't change tact and look for a tiger. But if you feel before you get married that on the side, sometimes you like winking at, you want the tiger side, look for that, because most of us don't have that. Or ask your partner, can you convert to be Hello Kitty and then once in a while become a tiger?
Yes, because, and I feel like that is so important, and why I think people need to learn how to develop their sense of self. And I keep going back to that because I feel like it's the most important thing. Because once you understand yourself and your needs, then you won't be swayed by what societal standards are. You'll be looking for, because you will know, so me, I'm someone who, I want a wife and I want someone who'll be a good mother, I want someone who'll be a good partner, but I also need this wild side that my woman has to have that because I need that. And the same thing for women, you know, it's about getting to understand who you are rather than trying to just fit into what society expects of you.
Do you feel also women are getting to the same Madonna and the wildcat and the kitty cat effect, where we marry people and they really don't reach to the optimum of our sexuality, but we just marry them because he's ideal, he has a house, he has a job. Yet when we want them to explore sexuality, or they actually never reach to where we are.
Barbara, hold that thought, man. 94.4 Spice FM, we are the adults in the room. We're talking about how men and women view sex, and we have a special guest who's dropping gems. It's 9 o'clock. Remember, you can watch us live on www.spicefm.co.ke, and you'll be able to catch the ladies in the building who are looking really hard, man. And obviously, there's a single brother here. He's single but not searching, but you never know, man. You better check him out on www.spicefm.co.ke.
Where's my camera?
I don't know where it is. But, check him out, man. And also... I'm also in the building. You can check me out. if
When
you
ni
want to.
bwana
You're married.
wenyewe.
Kwani
You're
siwezi
married.
angaliwa?
Wewe.
Ukifanyiwa nini?
No, kwani hawezi niona?
Kiangani, please check out your man. Just
So when
check
you're
out
married,
your
you're
man.
invisible.
That
Now
is
it's-
sad.
No, when you're married, you
Why are
can
you
be seen.
changing your
No.
voice?
No,
No, see,
Does your wife know these things you're doing on this studio?
Eric,
you guys really discriminate against married men. We have a special guest in the building. We're talking about how men and women view sex differently, and our special guest Taruri Gatere is right here.
He had to
Why did I have
cram
to bring
that.
it from
You
the
know he's taking a whole hour to say his name.
Hizo makofi ni zangu. Hey, yenyewe mimi ni mnoma. So yes, we're talking about how men and women view sex differently. Baba, you asking? Baba, you
And
asking
differ.
questions?
And also differ.
Yes, and
in
we
sex.
differ.
All right, that's cool.
I wanted to ask Tarure, do you think women also have the same effect, the one that Eric and Emmanuel are talking about, the Madonna effect on reverse? Do you think we also get involved or get ourselves into marriages with the wrong sexual partners and pretend that we want this ideal man, but yet in the sack we wish for our tiger?
After she answers, I have an interesting bit I'll read on a report I read.
Yes.
But yeah,
Yes.
Taruri
No,
first.
I do think that happens a lot, actually. I just feel like women are so much better at hiding their extracurricular activities in searching for their tigers. But yeah, absolutely, women do have the same struggle.
So you think the problem then should be double standards? Like we have a lot of double standards in, especially now when it comes to marriage and sex.
Yeah.
You're with someone, you desire someone else. Someone is
Yes.
with you, they desire someone else.
Yeah.
You feel that they're not doing enough?
Yes, because it goes back to the conversation we were having yesterday about how you just need to be honest from the get-go with the person you're with. You tell them your true desires,
Exactly.
so that you don't get into marriage and you're broadcasting something different and receiving something different.
Yeah.
There is that, and also just a conversation around whether or not men's sexual appetite is insatiable, you know. I read a report, and allow me to share. It is said that men seek sex more avidly and more often than women. All right. At the start of a relationship, Barbara,
Yes.
in the middle of it, get Tarure, and after many years of it, that they're still
They
searching
will
for
search
sex.
something.
This is not just true of heterosexual relationships. Gay men are said to have more sex than lesbians in all stages of the relationship. So there's a picture that is painted here that men are just have a monstrous appetite for
Yeah.
coitus
Yes.
than women. Do you think that's true?
I can only speak about personal experience,
Okay.
and let me tell you, it is not true in my personal experience.
Yes.
And from the conversations I've had with people, I do feel like there's this misconception. I don't know.
Yeah. Also, Emmanuel, I think that the men who are married and even men who are dating often falsify their not only performance,
Yes.
but
But
also their
escapades.
experiences and
Yes.
escapades from the women.
Yes.
So women tell them things like, I am having the best time of my life. Not true.
And
Yes.
they're lying.
I just came 15 times. You are just Mandigo warrior. Not,
Not
true.
true.
So they come around and report.
You
Matter of
fill me
fact,
up.
Further down in a study, I read a
And you're
different
not feeling
study.
anything.
They asked the same number of men and the same number of women married what their sexual experiences was like. And these women truthfully said that I think they only 26%, I think I got it down somewhere, that 26% truly of these women said that they've ever orgasmic or experienced an orgasm in a relationship. But their husbands were inflating the figures to 60. They're like, no, my wife, all the time. All
Which
the
is
time.
why I always tell women, please don't fake.
Yeah.
Please do not fake it, because it creates this false sense of, I know what I'm doing.
Yes.
And guys, they
They have
think
inflated
that
egos.
that they're
Yes.
such fantastic
Yes.
lovers. It's not the truth.
Yes.
But also, something else, by the way, I don't know if people know this, a woman's sexual appetite actually gets higher as she gets older.
Yes.
Especially right before menopause. Women are just like on another level.
Barbara,
Yes.
remember what I told you earlier? Hey,
I got it, Barbara. Women experience.
I'll deal with you later.
Well, women experience orgasms different than men, as we know.
Yes.
Men on average take 4 minutes. Women, on the other hand, take anywhere between 11 to 15 minutes. So unaona kama we ni mtu wa dakika tano za nguvu, you'll always fall short.
Na si wote wanaweza
Among-
dakika tano, wengi wanaweza dakika mbili.
Yes, among men who are part of a couple, 75% say they always have an orgasm, as opposed to 26% of the women. Now, these 26% of women tell their husbands, all right, that they've been
satisfied.
getting off.
Yeah.
But they've not been getting off.
You see,
So
that's why
at
we
what-
need to be honest.
Yes, stop lying to us.
Honestly, you
Emmanuel,
know,
do you
switch
want
on the
to
lights
go and
and
do
show him
research
what he
for
needs
us?
to be doing.
Yeah.
Just research.
At your Barbara?
You want to do research? No, it starts at home. Charity Day. You can do research and find out if you're actually.
I like where the conversation is going about, just picking up and saying, you know, for the last 15 years, honey, husband,
Yes.
I have never as much as dropped a tear.
Yeah.
Like there is nothing happening down south. There is no story, as Barbara would say, hallelujah story.
not
We've been
a aha
dull. It's been a Dodge song. down there.
Yes.
Chitty, there'll be Dodge songs for 15 years. So now, what are we going to do about it? Instead of lying perpetually that
Yes.
you're happy and you're not.
Exactly. And it opens up such a fun world of discovery too. You know, I think people really limit themselves when it comes to sex. There's so much enjoyment that can be had in the exploration process of what do you like? What if I try this? And what if we try this? I saw this and I think it would be nice. You know, just explore each other's bodies and see what comes up.
Taruri, what strikes me about you, your name is very Kikuyu as you are. And there are a lot of stereotypes around, you know, Luo men, Kikuyu women, Kisi men. What do you feel about stereotypes? Because you're very liberal, you're very outspoken about your sexuality and sex. Do you think stereotypes have a place to play in regards to how people choose their sexuality? Like if you're born in a particular tribe, then you are dull. And then if you're born in a particular tribe, then you're always ready to go.
I think to some extent it can play a part because we can't, socialization is a big thing. We can't understate it. How your culture views certain things will definitely affect how you do. But also, I'm a very firm believer in individuality. And so it doesn't really matter at the end of the day where you come from. If you are interested in elevating even, you know, your sex game or your sexuality or understanding how to please your partners, then nothing will stand in your way, not where you're from, not your age, nothing. Yeah.
Emmanuel, not your age.
Barbara,
No, I'll just say-
let me tell you, Barbara. Today, I'm Mike
Logo
Tyson,
display.
huh?
Logo
Today,
display.
I'm Muhammad Ali. Man. Sting like a bee. Barbara, Ati Barbara.
Yes.
Tarure.
Yes.
The
Tarure.
Tarure.
Yes.
It's
All right.
okay, Munich.
Barbara Bado. So there's a post where there's somewhere where you talked about like the way you call yourself a wild woman.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And maybe I'll give you a moment to describe like yourself as a wild woman. Is that intimidating to men?
Equally intimidating and fascinating.
Let's start with a brief description of the wild woman,
We'll explain it.
so that guys can get the
Fascinating.
question about being intimidated.
Yes. So for me, when I speak about being a wild woman, what I mean about that is that I express my authentic self. And I, first of all, I'm a life coach by profession. And so I understand how the human mind works and how being socialized and conditioned into society can really affect how you project yourself into the world. And I spent a lot of time in my life, especially in my 20s, really breaking down these ideas of what I'm supposed to be as a woman. Even that, Madonna whore complex, I had to deal with it. And instead of trying to be a good woman, which was what I was conditioned to be, which meant virtuous, dressing in a certain way, carrying yourself in a certain way, what I decided to do was choose to live authentically. And that means, what are my needs and what are my wants, and how can I create a life that gives me my needs and my wants? So basically, that's what being a wild woman means.
So is it intimidating? Because maybe I meet you, I don't know this wild woman-ness of yours. So when you reveal it, the guys who you've met, is it intimidating?
It is intimidating, but also strangely fascinating, and also a little, some guys fetishize it, which is even more disturbing than the intimidating one.
Yeah.
Because it's like some guys will meet me and want to put me on a pedestal and expect me to be some kind of sex goddess who will just, take them on a ride,
Unwrapped.
which, I mean, I can, but
Go.
But what I also like to say is that we don't have to be one thing. Just because I'm a sexual woman, it doesn't mean that I'm not an emotional woman. It doesn't mean that I don't have the need to connect with people on a different level. And so, intimidating, fascinating, fetishized. Yes, all the above.
So we have, I'm sure you have many people with the fetish angle DMing and trying to get into this goddess angle. So what do? You tell them go away?
Ignore. I used to try and engage with people before and try and explain, because the thing about me is even putting myself out there has been deliberate, because I do want to try and change perceptions of what is possible for a woman and what she can choose in her life. So sometimes I would engage with men just to try and get them to see a different perspective, but it gets exhausting at some point in a
Has it worked in terms of changing the society and the perception that men have of us?
To some extent. I do get some people DMing me and being like, you've changed my mind about some things. But you see, I wouldn't be able to feel the full effect of my impact, I guess. I wouldn't.
And how are women relating to you? Because I know we are our own worst enemy. So how are other women relating to you? Like, is this girl too much or extra? How have you, what's the feedback on that?
There has been some judgment from women, but I'll have to say, maybe the judgment is like 30%. 70% of the women are so supportive, so encouraging, so they feel like they can relate to me. Some of them feel like I'm expressing a part of themselves that they can't because they're still afraid to, or they're still judged too much. So there has been some judgment, some family members as well say some things, but
you're speaking to someone.
Eric, the reason I asked Taruri that question is, you see that I'm working hard,
I can see.
is because when a lady now decides to express herself and what she thinks about sex openly, this men, like in droves, I'm imagining there are many, dash now to the inbox of this lady. Like they seem to be, it's like a moth with light. Like they seem to be so attracted to this person, meaning that there is a need which is not being met. Maybe there's maybe more women should be more expressive, so that there are less men dashing to this few expressive ladies' inboxes. Trying to fulfill that need of, I want someone who makes my imagination just run, and maybe that will help more men relax.
Even aside from that, just the for me, it's the divorcing your thinking as a man that you are like a woman or a woman is like you. So that when a woman decides in her own time to say, you know what, I'm a very sexual woman, that does not equate to how sexual I am as a man. It's very different. Which brings me to a very interesting thing I read. There's a lady who tweeted a long thread. She said, imagine, I don't know if you have time, I can squeeze the story. She says, imagine waxing at 6 p.m., sending pictures of your dress to your girlfriends for them to help you choose, and waxing your feet and waxing wherever else, and having gone to the salon earlier on, and then showering for long, umejisok kwa hizo vitu wa mnajisok, and then oiling your body, and then at around 7 o'clock he says he's leaving and he's on his way, and then at 8:15 she went on to crazy details as only women can do. And so the tail end of the story, wonderful thread, she says that this guy drives. They end up somewhere on Langata Road, and he stops. So she thinks he's just picking something, but turns out that's the place for where they're going for the date. And so she's just like, oh, wow. So I'm in my high heels and whatever else she had worked so hard to wear. And this guy is taking me to a nyama and beer.
And I waxed for nyama.
So the thing is this, and maybe Taruri, you can answer when you are back. The women's sexual desire, sexual desire in women is extremely sensitive, and oftentimes based on environment context. So we talk more of that when you come back after the break. I'll explain further.
94.4 Spice FM. We are the adults in the room, the home of soul music, some fine young cannibals all the way from the UK, coming up right now. This song was my favorite song when KTN had started. They had this music that they used to play at around 4:30. This was one of the jams they used to play, even before Jamadelic. Like they just used to play music. And, I was a kid and I loved this song, man. I loved the way this guy used to play the guitar.
All right.
No, so I'm not sure something about me.
I think ni brother yako alikuambia.
Eric, do you feel closer to me?
Because of KTN.
You don't express, you don't feel closer to me.
Mimi niko napika chapo.
Mimi niko naenda kusiaga sasa hizo. Wewe ulisiaga?
Wewe mimi nakuuliza
kama. Wewe siaga hata najui.
But did you ever siaga you guys?
Yeah, my mother used to siaga.
No,
my
we
mother
didn't ask about your mother. We asked you.
No, I didn't siaga.
But Emmanuel is the last born, eh? I don't know why we ask him such questions.
But don't stop asking.
Don't slander last born.
No, this guy is... you're also a last born?
Yes.
I'm not asking on second
This
last.
one,
Hey, what is the difference?
But do you feel closer to me?
What do you mean?
Wow. Do you guys want us
You don't want
leave
to.
the room?
No, Eric seems to
why
be
would
avoiding that
Eric
question.
feel closer
Why?
to you?
Why?
I've
Because
told
you
you a
watched
song that
KTN.
I liked.
Oh, that's good. Bless your heart.
But you know what song Eric likes? Zile za Nagajo.
Anyway, we are the adults in the room. 20 minutes past 9 o'clock. We're together all the way till 10. We have a special guest in the building.
She's called Taruri Gatere, and we're talking about how men and women view sex differently. We'd like you to plug into this conversation through all our social media handles. That is Spice FM KE on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. The hashtag is Adults in the Room. Eric and I will be sampling
Adults
some
KE,
of.
Barbara.
Oh, sorry, forgive me. Adults KE. That is the hashtag.
Yes, and Eric, what are you saying, my brother?
Oh, yes. And remember, right about now, maybe in a couple of minutes, 0719 012 600 is the number you want to call. But as Barbara has so ably said, we are receiving all of your feedback on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I'm keeping vigil up on Twitter. Remember, the hashtag is AdultsKE. And I'll read a few. Jep Korir from Eldoret says, hi, everybody. Say hi to Taruri.
Hi.
She says the man's sexual response is acyclical, which means anytime, anywhere. The woman's response is cyclical, which means she goes through time when she is more interested in sex than others. That's a very valid point, Chip. And Kimani says, Eric, I hear you. By that talk, you are definitely a fan of the guest. Nimeingia saa hii, let me catch up. Anasema huyu
Karibu
nakupenda.
sana.
Kimani anasema ati vile ninaongea, anaona ni kama
Yeah, fungua roho.
Philip.
Unapenda kazi.
So much with my I'm so much with my pen and paper taking notes. Fantastic, Philip. Thank you so much. We like to hear that. Joy says, Manu, tell these guys confidence comes with money. I don't agree, but I'll read it anyway. Wakora wanai wakikucheki vile unatembea wanajua uko na pesa ama wewe ni bure kabisa. His view. Openji, adjust the mic closer to Taruri. I really love and enjoy her voice. Unasikia Taruri? Anataka ukue wewe na mic.
Just nimemsongesha.
Yes, there's Steve Oshira, just as I wound up, says, you guys always keep my brain absorbing knowledge. Would you please ask the guest to advise me on how to elevate my courage as a factor towards sexuality? The usual suspects can chip in. Amesema sisi ni usual suspect. Guest akishamu advice. So before we go there, but I'm sure we are very quick and we can capture what has been asked. Anauliza tumu-advise. Ni moja tu wengine wanasema wanasikiza, but Steve anasema tumu-advise. Would you please ask the visitor to advise me on how to elevate my courage? But before we advise Steve on how to elevate his courage, I was saying before the break, remember if you're joining us, we are discussing how men and women define sex. And Taruri, I was saying about the story of the lady who was taken somewhere in the middle of Langata Road. And in a submission, she felt she did too much preparation, Emmanuel. Aliwax Barbara, akajisoka kwa bathtub, akajiekea manukato, then akapelekwa Langata Road.
I'm even shocked she continued, stayed there, live.
I've read that, and this is for you, Taruri, and Barbara, of course, I'll also want to hear your sentiments on this. I've read that sexual desire in women is extremely sensitive to environment and context. So that if you would wine and dine her, there are better chances that you can be given a cookie instead of just calling her randomly and saying, "Niko hapa kwenu buru, nipitie." That cannot maybe earn your cookie. Please share your views on that.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that wining and dining would be the way to get her cookie. Yes, to get her cookie.
Yes.
What I would say is, if it's something that she values, because there are women who do value the wining and dining, but there are women who value spontaneity, and to them the wining and dining would be like, now what's the point of this? You're making me dress up, take me out, I have to put makeup, I don't care. So it does depend on what the woman values, but context is really important. So it's about, when people say communication is key, like I don't know why we don't talk to each other. Even in that example for the lady who was taken to Langata Road, I feel like a conversation would have cleared so much of that up. Either her asking, so where are we going?
Yes.
Or him being like, so I'm taking you here to my nyama joint. Just communicate.
Yeah, I dated a lady
with
once. She used to live in Karen, and was still with her mom then. And one time we were supposed to go out, and then something came up. So I said, "I'm sorry, I'm running late. I might not make it, but in the event I finish early, can I come at it?" She said to me, you know, in my heart sikuwa nimetayarish sikuwa ready kukula njahe, na sahi tumepika njahe, mi nilikuwa nataka kula X, Y and Z. She was very specific. So I said, in that case, wacha nimalize hii mkutano niende nikununulie X, Y and Z. So you're right about communication.
Yeah.
Instead of just fumbling and assuming that you'll figure out what I want.
Exactly.
All right?
Because actually you can end up spoiling the relationship. Just when you were talking, I remembered I was once in a relationship and someone did the same thing to me. They said, hey, we're going out. So I actually dressed up. My heels, all that. And my heels were new. I'd actually gotten them. That's how I remember. Then the next thing, I'm being taken to another dingy joint. I thought, okay, maybe the same thing. We're picking something. Then it's like, we're here, we get out of the car. I was like, I'm not getting out of the car. And the person got upset. Like, get out of the car, we've reached. I was like, this is where we're coming. I was like, no, drop me on the road. Because I was like, you picked me up for this? And the person actually felt it was very rude. I told him, I'm not getting in the car. So he became very stubborn and he was like, no, this is the place we are going. And not that the person did not have the means or the ways, but I think this particular time, as you're saying, he didn't communicate. And I assumed we are going where we used to go. And he just felt like, hey, I wanted to change. So I got out of the car and instead of entering this car joint that is very funny. Okay,
you crossed the road and took a cab.
Yes, I crossed the road and took a cab. And 1, 2, we didn't speak for 4 years. We actually said,
Yes.
4 years. We started speaking last year. And at some point he felt, and anyone asked him to tell me, that woman is arrogant and all that. But later on when we spoke, I was like, you know what? I love those shoes. Those were the first time I wore those shoes. There is no way unanipeleka kwa kokoto.
But why couldn't you have just
and you
said
see,
in the car?
Why
couldn't you have just said in the car, you know what, honey, or whatever his name is, let's call him Steve. These shoes are really expensive, and I'd imagine we're going for a dinner joint. Can you please take us back? I wear proper shoes and maybe some jeans.
I actually mentioned the shoes, and the person felt that I was being extra. I was being a slay queen. Yeah, like your shoes of a meat, I'd put nyama. I was like, I'm not putting my shoes on kokoto. And you see, different people value different things, as you're saying.
Exactly.
So from there, we fell out of that. Of course, we're not talking on high-buy basis, but I feel women need to communicate. Even if someone is taking you and you're used to them taking you somewhere, ask where you're going. Unless they say it's a surprise, then that's different. But just ask those questions.
But even if they say it's a surprise, then you can have the conversation of, so how should I dress?
Dress, yes. And that's why these days women like asking, and men always wonder, why is she asking? I don't want to show up in a nyama choma joint in a mini.
Exactly.
Or maybe you're going for dinner and you're in
I'm
jeans.
in jeans. Yeah. So yeah. So when our lady asks, I think men should also be open to just tell you, dress appropriately.
Emmanuel, did you used to ask if you just wear your garments Taruri so that for performance?
He's Rambo.
You guys, you're
Cheki nivalie tu hapa ama nikuje nayo.
You guys, you're a strange man. So, what should men do, Taruri, to understand this new breed of woman? Because I feel like this movement, let me call it a movement, just to show the gravity. This movement is getting bigger. Like there are more ladies like you, coming up. So, in order for us not to be left behind, what do you think we should do to understand this new breed of women?
Open your minds, open your ears, and listen. I wish, it's as simple as that. I feel like guys feel like it's more complicated, but honestly, if you just open your mind and open your ears and listen to what women are talking about, listen to what they're saying, listen to how they're carrying themselves, and then just try and educate yourself. Google is your friend. There are articles, so many articles talking about women and women embracing their sexuality, loving their bodies, trying to be more empowered. Just read and ask questions and engage with women and listen. I feel like that's the most important thing.
Do you feel like, what would you think of also men becoming also as expressive? Because men are expressive behind the scenes, but hata sisi tuanze kusema vitu ambazo tunataka.
Yes.
But you say it when you're
open.
drunk.
Yeah, that's
Like
the
we
thing
just-
though. They do.
Yeah, they say it when they're drunk.
Oh, we
high.
hide behind
Or
this.
high,
Yeah.
high.
Do you feel
Like
like
if Agnes, if I was there, I'd have talked to you.
And when you're there, you can't do anything.
Say those things you're saying, Jonah. Check what things?
so? Do you feel like we should also improve, be more expressive?
Definitely. I feel like definitely.
You don't think we'll be judged differently?
You see, the thing is, judgment is going to happen. And
Emmanuel, what do you want to be done to you, man?
No.
Is there
He's
He's
something
been
you want
saying he
someone
wants to be
touch?
pulled.
No,
No,
honestly.
maybe someone wants.
If I write, for instance, on my Instagram, what I truly want to be done to me. See, people
I
will say,
don't-
"What are you?"
okay, you don't have to actually broadcast.
But why are you broadcasting?
No, honestly,
we have
you
a
want your
WhatsApp
hair-
See, I'm
group.
being
We
expressive.
have a, no, yes.
You want
yes.
your-
Honestly, I'm being expressive.
Expressive. Sweetheart, express it.
You
Leave
see
Eric
the way you
alone.
guys are reacting?
No, me, I'm
No,
happy
just-
for you.
That is
Check-
why men are hiding.
I'm happy for you.
Hey, that is
Emmanuel,
right.
in fact,
Honestly.
you'll get the first like
No.
from me.
Yeah.
That
You
is
think
very
it would be
funny.
attractive to women? You think?
No, yeah, I'll be very happy for you. Not attractive to me. Me, I like because I want to laugh.
No, for real. You don't think it'll save a lot of time because
It
now men
would.
are now saying truly what they. It's not in a freaky, crass way like you were
Yes.
saying earlier.
Yes.
But you're just saying what you really want, and then now you meet
Absolutely.
this.
But I
lady.
feel
Yeah.
honestly, Emmanuel, if you're being fair, I feel like men have, because of patriarchy, men have always verbalized their sentiments about
Yeah.
this and that. I mean, men are very. I was telling them the other day at Taruri that there's a guy in Langata who meets women randomly and he just says, "We hii kitu haina last scene, nipeni gware." Nipeni gware. And he
Can
he
you
says that.
imagine?
He just says that. And that's if a woman randomly told you that, you can start screaming and calling cops. Cheki, afande ameniambia ati haina afande.
In fact,
You know,
someone can.
but
you
men
can
say
assault
all
us.
manner of crazy things all the
Yes.
time. So I feel like already we
They
are
assault
expressing.
us with
Maybe
their
it's not on
words.
Instagram as you would like, but they're saying crazy things.
But Emmanuel can be the first. He can
What do you
try
mean?
it
I'd
out.
like.
No, see, you propose.
You wanted.
Yeah, I'm being hypothetical.
No, Emmanuel.
Don't worry, this is a safe
No,
space.
yes, no judgment.
No
No judgment.
No, me, I'm a representative.
Let's go
of
back
what-
to Steve, guys.
Oh, yes.
Steve had asked a question. Would you please ask Taruri to advise me on how to elevate my courage as a factor towards sexuality? And also us would chime in. What do you think a man
The
can
same
do?
question is also being asked by a gentleman called Victor Otieno, so it will be next to answer it. He's also asking about confidence around ladies, more or less about the same. The
All
courage.
right, absolutely. Taruri?
Yeah, I feel like the root of all this, building confidence, finding courage, is self-acceptance. And that comes through understanding who you are and what it is that you want. So sit with yourself, get to know who you are, know what it is that you want, and then just start projecting yourself in the world the way you want to be. And, the thing is, there will be criticism sometimes, there will be judgment. Learn not to let what people think about you hit you at your core, because I feel like as long as you understand who you are and you love yourself, then what the world thinks will stop mattering. And then you will start to find like-minded people who will affirm the confidence in you. So get to
Barbara,
know
how
yourself.
do you wiggle your confidence?
From a man or a woman?
No, in regards to their question.
Yes, first, there's a gentleman before that who said confidence comes with money. I don't believe that.
No.
Yes, I can't remember. It was a tweet you read.
Yes.
You don't have to have money to be confident. It's just knowing your self-worth. Just to echo on what Taruri has said. Wait, today we're in trouble. Taruri. Yes. Just to echo on what Taruri has said, you need to know your self-worth.
Yeah.
Self-confidence. I think we've talked about this so many times, is knowing who you are, accepting who you are at that particular time, and knowing your self-worth. Once I accept myself, I'll be able to bring forth and tell, you know what, Eric, I am at this phase of my life. Take it or leave it.
Yes.
We need, in fact, there's an age that Eric likes saying, I'm just an age where you do not give a damn. Yes, you reach a certain age.
Yes.
You need to reach that particular age or particular stage in your life where whether this lady likes me for not having a car or not, it does not matter. Whether this lady likes me because I have a job or not, does not matter. I am who I am at this particular stage. Yes. I am this petite woman. I am this chubby lady. I am this chubby man. I don't have a six-pack. I have a one-pack. Love me the way you are. Yeah. There I am. And you'll be very shocked. The person, we don't, I like what Taruri said earlier. Women don't fall sometimes for the physicalness. It's the essence and the energy that you have that we fall off. And our radar is so on top. If my radar is today, I am looking for a hookup for money and I'm looking for someone who's wealthy. Not that when I'm saying I'm looking for someone with money, he's going to give me a good job in bed. No, that's not the agenda for today. Agenda for today, natafuta mtu akona pesa. Agenda for today on this other side is someone who will make me dance in bed. So don't assume that women don't see. It's
Yeah.
just that we have made certain choices and certain things in our lives. Don't assume because someone has money and they've attracted a certain woman, it is confidence. No. Women are very in tune with their emotional side. It's just a matter of choice, and every woman is different.
When we talk about being sexually expressive,
Emmanuel, this guy asked a question and he asked that you chime in.
Everyone was supposed to
no,
chime.
Mwambie ameniambia niulize swali immediately.
That's how you run
Because
away.
of time.
Yeah, man.
So, when you're talking about being sexually expressive, where does what would you say about the kinky angle of sex, like toys, blah blah blah?
The what?
Kinky, like kink,
Yes.
bringing in.
Don't
toys.
worry, sometimes he whispers when
Hey,
he's very
you're whispering.
no, when he's very conservative. So his
Barbara
tiger
anapenda-
comes on
Ba-
Fridays.
No, Barbara is my lawyer.
Yeah.
She knows who I am.
Yes.
So, that include being kinky, like using toys? Like, is that part of the sexual expression? And what would you say about that? Like, would you encourage these Madonnas now to, evolve into using toys?
I mean, try it and see if you like it. The thing is, everybody likes different things. We can't all do the same thing. We're not all built to like the same things. So what I'd say is just like explore, try different things. You would be surprised. Maybe you'll try those toys and love them, or maybe you won't. Maybe they won't work for you. But I feel like just like in life, when it comes to sex, it's important to allow yourself to explore and try different things. Then you can figure out what your likes are and what your dislikes are.
There's a time Emmanuel was tied, and I had to go and untie him because the
Yes, I
lady
remember
left
that
with
time.
the key.
Yeah.
So that's why.
That's why he's asking that question. No, it is okay.
Okay.
Also, trust is very important. So try with people who you trust so that you're not in such
We had
situations.
to look for cops. Polly, that was a tough time.
So, but like, do you ease them into it, or you just appear with, a weapon?
What are we talking about?
No, so we're talking about sex with
Okay.
a woman. I have
Don't
a
worry.
woman.
He usually
I
uses
have
the
a
third person.
I have a
third
Madonna
person.
at home. Still.
Okay,
So
yes.
now I want to now become expressive.
Yes.
And one of my fantasies was using a certain toy like Eric's. So
Which one that is happening?
the one
You
that
guys
is
know
out-
each other's toys. Hey.
No, it's
No,
important.
that whip-
But the Taruri, I can
do you
tell you
still
the
have that
importance
whip?
of this question because this lady lured him into tying him and he fell
that
for
cuff.
it. Sasa na akaenda Murang'a. So you see, he couldn't reach his phone.
you guy. Do you
And
still
he
have
was
that
That's
whip?
how now Eric came to know the story. And then through Eric, I came to know the
That's how
story.
ilikuwa ni kitu ya ajabu. Anyway, to continue the question. So you want to be eased into being tied?
And using cuffs.
No, it's a very serious question.
Yeah.
Like this is something that you want. You ease them into it, or
Yeah, perhaps have a conversation first. I mean, don't just show up one night randomly with whips and chains and be like, this is what I like. No.
Manuel umesikia.
Just like broach the subject. Be like, I was thinking of trying this thing. Would you be interested in it? And then just take the person slowly, because you can't take a conservative person and just throw kink at them and expect that they're going to be fine. Yeah. just
same thing with
slowly.
someone who's sexually expressive. You have to have the same conversation. If I find this chick who's expressive, I can just appear with the whips.
I mean, but talk. I don't know, why would you just
Exactly.
No,
I
so
might
she
be-
said.
Listen,
She
I
said,
might
yeah,
be-
ni mtu ambaye ako expressive.
Emmanuel, I might be expressive
Aye,
in my
but-
sexuality, but I'm not into whips. I'm
Yeah.
expressive in a different angle. Hear her, what she's trying to say. Come slowly.
Emmanuel just wants you to take to the supermarket and
She's
start
saying you
picking
have to
equipment.
introduce it slowly.
Mko na hiyo ya kuhang? Wapi ya chandelier?
Imagine she said it twice, introduce it slowly,
So-
Emmanuel. was
so-
so-
Communicate,
both ways.
have conversations. Yes, please. I feel like just talk. Yes.
I feel like talking, man, is a big thing.
It
in
really
this thing
is.
of sexual expression.
It
In
is.
everything.
It is.
How
It
would
is.
you advise a couple or a man and a woman out there to express themselves sexually? Or what have you tried?
Would you?
that-
Okay.
Yeah.
Like, how would I advise a couple who?
Or let me use
Okay.
myself.
Okay.
How would you advise me if I want to express myself sexually? How do I come out of it?
Yeah. So, do you know what you like?
Yes, I know what I like. So
Okay.
should I openly just talk it out, or do the Instagram, or is there a way that you've used that has worked that you'd advise me to use?
I feel like okay, there are several ways that you can go about it. If you have a lover in your life, you can broach the subject with them and see if they'd be willing to explore these things with you. Another thing is finding community. That's such an important thing, which is why I love the internet, because you can find Facebook groups for pretty much everything, or you can find people on Twitter talking about any topic, guys on Instagram.
People, right?
Exactly.
So look
then
for community.
a community, and that will actually help you start to express, your different desires, and maybe you can talk to them about their journey as well, coming into this space and how they were able to express their sexuality.
Taruri, I've been thinking about these conversation around being expressive and how, as men, we can be very judgmental. So I'm thinking we are on a date with Taruri, and I've seen some of the clips, and I've seen, oh my goodness, me, I'm like that, like I like sex, I don't care, guys, yeah? So I'm just like, I don't care.
Who talks like that? Better not be me.
So I think it's important, Kisiangani and Barbara as well, that we have a conversation around how judgmental a lot of us get.
Yeah.
We are very judgmental. We have a perception about people. Sometimes we don't even know, so that if they say the sentence that doesn't quite sit well with us, then they become something that, oh my God, that person is very weird.
Yeah.
So I like that you touched on, earlier on you said that, judgment is always going to be there.
Yeah.
But I think, Emmanuel, the onus is on us as men to stop this blanket judgment of what a woman says she is, so that we don't take away the other many fabulous things that she is, and we zero in on this one thing that no other woman has ever said, just because she's expressive about her sexuality. So we're like, okay, fine. So before we have breakfast, are you going to pull me first? So that, because now a lot of us, Taruri, I'll tell you the truth, a lot of men, after a woman has come out clean about her being sexual, they just think that. Like you are an avocado on my bread. What we're going to be doing to you is eating you.
Yes.
We will never ever talk about my mom and Chama.
Yeah.
You are for being eaten.
Yes.
Exactly. So I think that's also very
Yeah,
important. That's what has been coming out in this conversation, and I thought we
Yes, especially with the way we're talking about how men view sex. That judgmental attitude is terrible.
It's terrible.
I'm going to pick up a couple of phone calls, 0719012600. You can call in. Our special guest is in the building for only 29 more minutes. Is it even 19? 18 more minutes. So you can take advantage of this time. 0719012600. Barbara, what are we talking about?
We're talking about how men and women view sex differently. And our special guest is Taruri Gatere. And as Emmanuel has said, the number is 0719012600. Please remember to reduce the volume of your radio, be audible, and before I forget, opine on the topic.
Spice FM, hello. Alrighty. Hello, Teresa.
Yeah,
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. And what about you?
I am well. How is Ahero?
Hero is fine.
All right. You have a question for our guest?
No, I'm just congratulating you guys because you always make my night. I'm just listening here silently.
That is so sweet. Say hi to Eric and
Okay, say, Harry, kind dinade.
Teresa, hadi maber manain.
Auntie Mabernyat. You were saying hi to Barbara.
Hello, darling, and thank you for tuning in.
Okay, thanks. Good night, all of you.
Good night.
I
Thank
give
you.
it 5.
She's so sweet. Look at her.
Yeah, she's so sweet. I'm going to pick up more of your phone calls. Let me try and squeeze one in. Spice FM, hello.
Hello,
Yes, sir.
you're talking to Robin Agandi
From where?
from Ukunda.
All right. Karibu sana, my brother.
Leo simu yangu imeenda tu basi. Nashukuru sana kuongea nanyi.
That is good. Do you have a question for our guest?
I don't have a question for our guest, but nilikuwa nataka nikumbushe Emmanuel.
Yes.
Kuna siku lingia nini maisha ndani akakwambia lazima ukaribishe nani huyu Barbara aenda wasalimia. Unakumbuka hiyo siku?
Nakumbuka Mwashumbe.
Akamwambia ukaribie anataka kuona Barbara lakini nimengojea aingie kwa maisha lakini hapana, lakini
anakuja kwa vishindo na nderemo.
Ruben tamtuma huko awasalamie.
Ruben, umenifanya nisikie kukariri shairi balaa.
shairi gani?
Ni shairi tu, unajua kwa unzungumza bana, nikatamani sana kukariri shairi.
Thank you so much, Ruben, though.
Kunda effect.
Thank you.
But Barbara, you see you have a date hapo at Maisha, usalamia watu.
Utanipeleka?
Watu wanakungojea kule.
Nitaenda usijali.
When I come back, I'm going to pick up more of your phone calls. Brian from Syokimau, I can see you. Francis from Nyeri. And the other Brian. We're going to pick up a couple of calls, when we come back from this break. But meanwhile, some Lionel Richie coming up. What are we talking about, Barbara, and who's our guest?
How men and women view sex differently. Our guest is Taruri Gatere. We'll be back.
One of the questions I'm going to ask you, Taruri, when we come back is if you can actually, just not have sex as a part of the connection. And I think Eric alluded to it earlier. Like you're sexually expressive, but you're not having sex, but you're together. You're going to answer when we come back right now. Lionel Richie, all night long, Idols. And he was looking fresh,
Yeah,
man.
he was a judge.
His skin, like there was no pimple, man. This guy is enjoying life.
Lionel.
It's Botox.
Lionel Richie.
Could also be Botox.
This guy, I always tell these guys are doing.
Courtesy of money, like he's living his best life, even after.
I wouldn't be shocked 2 years from now nikiona umetoa tint.
I'm living
I'm not that guy.
You're living your best life.
No, I'm not one of those tint guys. Yeah, man. Maybe Eric. Eric, are you into tint?
Umesema utanitukana leo hadharani.
We are the adults in the room. 11 minutes, 10 o'clock. We have a special guest in the building.
Her name is Taruri Gatere, and we're talking about how men and women view sex differently. You could plug into this conversation by calling in. Our number is 0719012600. Please remember to reduce the volume of your radio, opine on the topic, and please be louder. We have Gatere. Taruri for the next 10 minutes.
So, I was asking you during the break about your work.
Yes.
Do you have places where you share this information with, groups?
I actually do. I hold workshops with women, specifically to learn how to express their sexuality. And so if people follow me on social media, I put posters up all the time when I have my events. Taruri Gatere on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. You can find me there.
Do you have many married women coming through for the talks?
Not that many, which makes me a bit sad. Usually I have single women or women who are dating and women who are recently separated or divorced. But married women, I feel like maybe there's this shame around wanting to express their sexuality, or maybe they feel like they'll be judged. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and I was telling you earlier that, why, like the ladies who are divorced are the ones going.
Yeah.
And, why, Masi?
Today, Taruri, a friend of mine, very close friend of mine, and he's fairly older, maybe in his early 50s, called me in the morning. And he said, I've been listening to the show, and I have to admit that one of the things that has happened is that you guys have changed my thinking. Wow. And I've not told anyone this, but my wife is happy because of what you guys have been saying.
Nice.
Yeah. So these conversations are very
They're
important.
so important. I
and
love what
like,
you guys do.
So the reason I'm telling that story is to encourage a man listening to not be too closed, so that if their wives came home and said, there are these classes Taruri offers that I want to go for. It's for the betterment of your family.
Absolutely.
And your husband. And you'll be happier.
Yes.
Like something is going to be turned in a different way that it's never been turned before.
Emmanuel, to answer your question, why women who have separated or divorced or have left a relationship would go there, because most of us, and we don't say it, in our marriages, we feel choked and we're not able to just come out or be ourselves. We've been Hello Kitties, but deep inside we're looking for a tiger or a tigress in us. So we have decided, after now this has ended, maybe the marriage has failed, things are not going to work out. You're like, you know what? Let me rejuvenate myself. Let me get to know myself better. Let me get to know my sexuality. This is when you find a woman, decides to change how she looks. She wants to get to know her sexuality, and she's determined that, hey, I'm not going to date any mediocre man. I come first. I am number one. That is why you find such women taking these classes.
I believe the same is true also about dating relationships.
Even dating, yeah.
Right. Can men do it?
Can men come for the classes too?
It's a bit tricky.
She's a woman.
I would love to work with couples, to be honest, and I feel like that's something I would add. But a single man, it's a bit tricky because some come with their own intentions and
fetishes.
You can't be quite clear. Maybe they're coming to do some things with me. They may make assumptions that I'm going to
looking
cater
for a
to their
hookup.
needs. You know, so it's a bit tricky, me with a guy one-on-one.
A group of guys?
A group of guys.
No, to learn about sexual
A
expression.
group of guys and
Is
she
it-
can't handle
She
one.
can't handle
No,
one.
kwani what are they coming to do? So they're coming for a lesson.
But how,
Which
see, there are a
lesson?
lot of dynamics,
on
like
being taught.
security. 14 guys can.
I would collaborate with a fellow, like a man who's also like a sex coach. I would definitely
and have a lot
collaborate
of
with.
cops by the gate.
but why are you suspicious about
No,
but just
she's
because
right,
of,
she's a woman.
women and security. Like a woman cannot cross this road now. Sembuse kuita mtu kwa apartment. I'm trained
Tunafanya-
about sex.
No, I'm waiting for apartment. There's a venue hapa in a standard group on a class for men about sex.
Emmanuel,
You
she
can
said
come,
she
there's
cannot
enough- it's an
handle
open
one. Why
place.
14?
No, well, but I think the dynamics are different.
Yeah.
For it would be easier if again maybe you are doing the class with her. So
Or
that
with
on
your
the
wife.
poster is very clear. Emmanuel and Taruri are teaching on sex. So the
Yeah.
men will not come with that. The men are cheeky. So you know, guys.
But,
guys
men
can
are-
be cheeky.
but you guys are they that base? Like
Yeah,
Oh,
a lot of
yeah,
guys,
don't
a lot of guys are
pretend.
quite bait. Base.
Emmanuel,
No,
don't
to be
pretend.
honest, I'm sure.
You also know you
I
can
thank
give
God.
you-
I thank God that your mind is elevated to levels of thinking like
Yeah.
that. But a lot of guys are
I
base.
know.
I think
When
he's
they see
also
a
being
poster, we
totally,
go and want
honestly.
to help themselves to Taruri.
Or look for go
Cheki,
there
ni mimi
because of
nilikuwa
ladies.
ni mimi nilikuwa unaona saa zile dance kwa ile video ni mimi ndio ndegua.
how low I mean,
Emmanuel,
are we
many
judging?
men even go for events not because they want to go, but just to go and look for chicks. So you can imagine someone can go there with an agenda. So for me, I also commend her that she's not taking up any random men for that class.
Can you be sexually expressive and not have sex? Like I'm dating you, Taruri, sindio?
Yeah.
I have been attracted to your expressiveness.
Yeah.
But now when I come and we are closer now, you're like, hey, no. By the way, I don't want to have sex. Yes, I'm expressive, but at least not now.
Yeah.
You know, is that a possibility?
Absolutely. Just because you see, sexual expression doesn't equal activity. Exactly. Thank you. Because, I mean, you can be fulfilled sexually in so many different ways. And also, just because someone is sexually expressive doesn't mean that they want to have sex all the time or
Yeah.
they want to have sex with everybody.
Yeah.
Like, those two can, like, they don't have to exist together, if you know what I mean. Yeah. So it just really depends on what the person's needs are at the moment. Because like Eric mentioned earlier, I had gone through a season when I was enjoying casual sex, and I got to a place where I was like, actually, I think now I'm more into connecting with people on a mental, a spiritual, and emotional level. And so I'm still a very sexually expressive person, but I am not engaging in casual sex.
Yeah, you see now that can make many guys like that's education to many guys because they think being expressive is now like the S word, you know.
Yeah, it means
Being active.
access. It
Yes.
means access.
Yes.
Yes. No,
Yeah.
you're totally right. Taruri, thank you, man. Yo. It's and you know you have very inquisitive eyes, eh? There's
Do
a way
I?
you look. She can give you a look. You guys have not noticed?
You know,
Like
you're
she
seated
can-
across so
no,
you-
she's been looking at me and looking at you guys as
But
well.
you know,
Maybe
you-
not you.
yeah.
But yeah, I can see. No, as in because you're sitting like this. so
That's
you
what I'm
cannot
saying.
see.
You can give me a better
Thank you for clarifying.
analysis.
Yeah.
Alrighty, you know, Eric, do you have a final question that you want to ask our guest? You are macho ndilikuwa ya mwisho.
No. I just
Macho yamemsumbua
I'm very
tangu
big on
tuanze.
complimenting people. You guys are acting like I've never ever. Barbara, sina kucomplimentiki ya daily.
No, sijakataa.
Na mbona mnataka kuniingililia?
No, I'm just correcting
Manuezi nilikwambia
Emmanuel.
juzi umepiga vesti yako pasi. Mbona ukakasirika?
Excuse me. How did you know amepiga best pass?
Nilikuwa
Alifungua
naona.
shati.
I'm telling you, this relationship is interesting.
But they have a very weird relationship.
Yeah,
I
but-
came to accept it.
But you know, I just
wanted to tell Steve Manuel, sorry, the other time before I spoke, Mumbi instructed an instruction. Steve had asked an important question, and I see he's still online, whether or not ways you can build confidence. And I feel pressed to ask this, to answer, because I had an uncle who used to ask me when we were growing up together, that how do you just randomly talk to chicks? Like you just randomly meet them, so unaanza kuambia nini? And I think my answer to my uncle, as it will be to Steve, is three things. One, you know that song for Take Me As I Am? So
Yes,
first of all, before someone takes you as you are, take yourself as you
As
are.
you are.
Number two, happiness is accepting who you are and where you are. So if you accept who you are, then happiness comes naturally. And then finally, authenticity. Authenticity. We've talked about authenticity on this show. You don't roll your tongue when you speak. Don't roll your tongue when you speak. You don't walk some type of way. Don't walk some type of way when you walk. You do not do, hey, what up? Hey, come wait, I have money. Don't do that. Just be you. If that's what you do, bless your heart. If that's not what you don't do, then don't do it.
Yeah.
Also, confidence comes from learning, right?
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah.
yes.
The more you learn, the more you're
absolutely,
confident.
absolutely. But know you first.
You want to thank our guests for coming through. brother?
Absolutely, Taruri. Thank you so much. You know, you could
Thank
be anywhere else in the
you.
world, eh?
Yes, but
Because you are a hot mama, nini.
Oh,
You'd be
thank
doing
you.
a class. Check it. No, you turn your leg like these guys, but you let all that go.
It's near Sanchez.
You let all that go and you came here. So thank you so much, and I hope to see more of you.
Yeah, thank
And
you so much for
Feel at
having
home.
me.
Please do come
And
again.
she's such a good
Please,
sport.
invite
You are.
me, invite
you,
me
you
again.
indeed are a good sport. Very chill. Are you sisters with Nini Wachara?
Can I answer that off air?
Yes.
No problem.
You and that answer off there, my brother. Unataka hiyo jibu off
Tumbo inakuuma.
He sounds constipated.
Barbara, what is happening tomorrow morning?
Tomorrow morning, we have the Situation Room from 6 a.m. till 10 a.m. with Ndu Oko, City Muga, and Eric Latif. And at 3 p.m. to 7 p.m., we have music on the Spice Drive. And of course, at 7 p.m. and 10 p.m., we have Eric Omondi, Emmanuel Kisiangani, and yours truly, the Duchess of Ikolomani. Make sure you tune in. We need to end this week with a bang. See you tomorrow. God bless you. I love you, darlings. Mwah.
All right, and remember to be safe out there. In fact, Taruri, I forgot to ask you if people are having more sex during this COVID period.
I think so.
You think so?
Quarantining together.
No.
Please remember to sanitize and wash your hands.
Yes,
It's a
please,
conversation
sanitize.
that I think we're going to continue.
Take it.
Also.
Eric, wacha kusniff microphone.
On behalf of Mumbi, our super duper producer, and Brian Amlioto, we just want to wish you a very good night. Tomorrow, as Barbara said, we meet same time, same place, same show. The show is going to be fire, just like the show was tonight. Remember, there's music all night long. So guess what? You don't have to touch that dial. It is exactly 10 o'clock.